All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of It's Debatable. I'm your host, Sebastian Pluvios. Today we back with Brody Talk, and we are talking NBA playoffs still. We are here in the second round. A lot has transpired since I last recorded. I feel like it's been a while. So just to keep you up to date. So I'm gonna start off first with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers series. That just finished up last night with Indiana winning 4-1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. A complete meltdown from the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'd say. Where do I even start? The Pacers was just a better team, the more healthier team at that, and they just handled business straight up. When I look at it, they didn't play around. They seen the opportunity to just, steal. I believe it was a game one, and I believe it was game two as well. They stole both games at home on Cleveland, and then they went back and then they stole another game at Cleveland to close out the series. So looking at this Pacers team, like I said before, I already had them winning. But just the way that they won was very much of a team effort. I don't think it was like just a one-man show at time. I know Tyrese Halliburton was having the games here and there, especially last night. I believe he closed out the series with, 31 points. But just everybody on the team in general, they run a deep rotation, and that's rare to find in the NBA playoffs to when you have a team that's – what the fuck? Welcome back to episode of It's Debatable. We talking Brody Talk today. I'm your host, Sebastian Pluvios, and we're going to jump right into it. It's been a while since I recorded basketball, but just to keep you up to date. So what we got going on in the NBA, I'll start off with the Cleveland and Indiana series that just ended last night with the Indiana Pacers winning 4-1. Yes, you heard it right. The Indiana Pacers beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, the number one seed that was in the East for the most part of the year. I believe won 65 games or so, something like that. Yeah, they lost to the Indiana Pacers in 5-game series, with Indiana stealing both games at home from game one and game two. And I believe that did they win game three? No, they didn't win game three. They blew out the Cavs in game four and handled business in game five. And just like that, the Indiana Pacers are going back to the Eastern Conference Finals for a second year straight. When I looked at this whole series, Indiana was just a better team in general. I know that the Cleveland Cavaliers were dealing with injuries from Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter, and I believe Evan Mobley. But I feel like that's not an excuse to lose in five. That's definitely not an excuse to lose in five, especially for a team that's been cooking all year, that, was favored to go to the conference finals to meet Boston. Everybody was talking about this. Oh, Indiana and Boston is going to be, not in Indiana, not in my fault. Let me say this again. How Cleveland and Boston was supposed to be a battle for the conference finals, but yet here we are. Indiana is going back to the second conference finals. With this Cleveland team, I don't know what happened. I can't blame injuries because everybody's injured in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell put up a hell of a fight, leading the series in points. I believe he averaged roughly around like 36 points a game, maybe 37 points a game in that 5-game stretch. But it just wasn't sustainable. Nobody else really came to show up when they most needed it. Darius Garland played like crap. You could tell that he was hobbled and injured, but once again, that's not an excuse. Evan Mobley vanished too. Just this whole team, it looked like Donovan Mitchell needs another scorer on this team, like an absolute bucket getter. Whether it's, I believe you make a trade for KD or you make a trade for, Giannis, you need an absolute score, somebody you can rely on. Whether or not it would be Donovan being the first option or the next person being the second option. Either way, I just don't think that this Cleveland team has enough. And when I say enough, I know they're a great regular season team, but in the playoffs, you're gonna need somebody else besides Donovan Mitchell to show up. I just think that a lot of times, more than not, Donovan Mitchell was just the main factor in that game, or just keeping them above float. There's games where nobody could buy a basket. You see a guy like Max Strus, literally last night, you went 0 for 9 after telling the team, if you're not ready, then don't come on the plane. Then completely shits the bed. A guy like Darius Garland couldn't find no offense. DeAndre Hunter, he's over here shooting damn near bricks. He looking like he did back in Atlanta. Like, it was a complete meltdown from the team. Another person that was kind of disappointed was in Ty Jerome, somebody that had a great year in the regular season, but just completely looked like unplayable in the postseason, especially in this series, I feel like this Cleveland team got exposed for just being a great regular season team. But when it comes down to it, you're gonna need guys. You're gonna need that guy and somebody that's a supporting guy. And I think that's really what was missing. Somebody that could take the offensive load of Donovan Mitchell from here time to time. I didn't see it with Evan Mobley. I didn't see it with Darius Garland. I didn't see it with none of these guys. So when I look at it, this team got to go back to the drawing board. I don't think you really need to move anybody unless it's a superstar. I believe you keep the same team. If I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers, I do not try to mess up this chemistry right now. I feel like you build towards it unless there's a superstar knocking on the door that could get you over the hump. There's no reason why you tamper with this team. I know that they had a meltdown and they have not been to the Eastern Conference Finals yet, especially with this talent. But in reality, there's no reason why you mess up this team. But onto the Pacers side of things, shout out to the Indiana Pacers once again. I did have them winning this series. I think that just the fashion that they won it was just real team basketball, more so just everybody got involved in the offense. When I look at it, Tyrese Halliburton had his moments in this game, hitting a game winner and then closing out the series with 31 points. Andrew Nembhard had his time to shine. Pascal Siakam, he's just been, I believe, their second best player. Even a guy like Miles Turner, who has shown just why he's been a part of this team for quite some time, for this many years, despite being in trade rumors. He shows why he's the vet of this team, why he's the heart and soul of the Indiana Pacers team, and just the most 10-year player that they got. A couple guys I'm missing too. TJ McConnell, Aaron Neesmith, who I said to me was their most X factor player, a real 3-and-D guy, somebody that guards one of the best players and, can space out the floor with his 3-point shooting and timely shooting. Who else am I missing? Benedict Mathurin, another one that's really just been another scorer off the bench for them. Obi Toppin, whenever he's, playing out in transition or hitting some timely shots. This team is a very, deep rotation team. When I look at it, they're playing maybe 8-9 guys off the bench. They even playing guys like Ben Shepherd. A lot of these guys are getting burned. Thomas Bryant, and that's rare that you see in the playoffs. We talk about it all the time to where you cut your rotations in the playoffs. Indiana, they did the complete opposite, and it benefits them because they're a team that plays team basketball. They're a team that likes to get out in transition, likes to share the ball. It's not a one-man show. Tyrese Halliburton is your best player. Don't get me wrong. Pascal Siakam is your second best player. But at any given night, if it's not them going, then it could be somebody else. It could really be somebody else. And that's what I've seen time and time again from this Pacers team. And it's shown that their rotations, their players were just more ready to play than Cleveland Cavaliers team. So with that being said, shout out to the Indiana Pacers. They'll be waiting to see who's going to play against the Knicks versus the Celtics. Game 5 tonight, closeout series for the for the New York Knicks. But before I even get into that, I do want to say prayers up to Jason Tatum. Suffered a torn Achilles in that game 4 against the New York Knicks in the fourth quarter. Just, something horrible to see. You don't want to see that from a star player, especially at the game he was having where he was damn near about to go for 50. Him and Jalen Brunson was going back and forth. And, it's just something sad to see, especially just, the career that Jason Tatum has thus far. Just a very well-accomplished player for his age and just what he's been able to do thus far in his basketball career. That alone itself, I feel like is a Hall of Fame career. But God willingly, he bounces back. I know torn Achilles is something serious, but I feel like just the resources and just everything that modern technology and science that we have today, I feel like he could bounce back. We've seen it within a guy like Kevin Durant. When he tore his Achilles, he came back a little bit more better, especially in the Brooklyn Nets. When he came back just averaging more than when he did with the Warriors. They said things like that in that nature. So I do believe Jason Tatum will bounce back. Just the player that he is and just the skill set that he brings to this team. I don't think he'll be relying heavily on athleticism and just the skill set that he brings once again. But yeah, you really hate to see it, especially during that game, breaking down the game, just seeing just what he was able to do on the floor, how he's willing this Boston Celtics team, how he was really cooking in that fourth quarter, really just hitting his threes. I know everybody had the notion that he's been playing like crap in the fourth quarter, really couldn't get a shot going. But I feel like that game was really just an awakening for Jason Tatum. And he was in that zone. When I tell you Jason Tatum could not miss from anywhere, he was getting to his spots, hitting fadeaway shots, getting to the basket, playing defense. He filled up the whole stat sheet. When I was watching the game, Jason Tatum filled the stat sheet defensively, offensively, rebounds, assists, threes, like anything that you needed out of that game from Jason Tatum, he delivered. But it was unfortunate. But then again, the Knicks won that game despite all of that. Despite all of that. And at a point, I thought we was going to have a tie series. I think Boston went up 14, I believe, at some point in the game. And I thought, oh, here they go, applying pressure. But the resiliency of the New York Knicks really showed that night. And I think that was the biggest win. And I know people are saying it on the media. That might be the biggest win in New York history in quite some time. And I'm going to tell you why. Because at the end of the day, yeah, we're up 2-1. But this series could have easily been 2-2. We easily could have been down by as much as 20, 25 if the Boston Celtics really just picked it up and really just ran us out the building. But no, everybody showed up. I believe from start to finish, everybody played their role to perfection. Starting with Jalen Brunson, who really just led the scoring offense in the third quarter. I believe he just saw red and just took over the game offensively too, going back and forth with Jason Tatum. He seen Jason Tatum cooking. Jalen Brunson says, y'all better recognize who the fuck I am. Because at the end of the day, I'm one of the top players in the NBA. And I think just him just getting to his spots, whether it's from three, whether it's driving to the basket, whether it's a mid-range, whether it's in the post game, Jalen Brunson really put on a performance that, that's going to cement him as a New York Knicks legend for years and years to come. Like, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, old heads going to be talking about, oh, I remember back in the day where Jalen Brunson, he won us that game for. He might have given us a chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, Jalen Brunson gave the city hope, but it just wasn't him, though. So, feel me, as much as shout out to Jalen Brunson for the special, I believe he had 39 and 12. Yeah, shout out to the game that he had. I got to give credit to everybody else, too. Cat did his thing, too. Try as much as he can to stay out of foul trouble. Just being aggressive in the paint, catching these rebounds, and just going right back up with it. He did his thing. Another person that did their thing, Mikal Bridges. Fourth quarter, midi Mikal Bridges. When I tell you that, I don't know, something about when it gets to the third and fourth quarter, when it gets closer to the game, Mikal Bridges just stepped this game up for, I believe, 3 games this series now. Yeah, because game 3 we got blown out. But for 3 games in this series this far, Mikal Bridges, when it comes to the fourth quarter, whether it's defensively or offensively or both, Mikal Bridges just, I don't know, he turned it up a notch. He could not miss a mid-range. I feel like he has a 99 mid-range. I don't know what it is, but every time he gets to that mid-range, you're more than likely going to think it's going to go in. Realistically, if you watch Mikal Bridges this whole season, every time he shoots a mid-range, you think it's bound to go in. I don't know what it is. I don't know what he practices in that fadeaway mid-range, but it's bound to go in. But he played a huge part. Another person that played a huge part, OG Anunoby, somebody who I thought that he was injured, and God willing so, he didn't. I thought that hamstring was going to be a bother like I was last year, and I just start panicking. But yeah, man, OG Anunoby showed up big time too, getting a lot of defensive stop, playing in passing lanes too. That was really a solid defensive performance then, and I feel like that's why we extended him. That's why we brought him for, I believe, the 5 years, $212 million contract. At the time, people thought it was overpaid. I'm one of them. I thought it was, but for the production that he gives for a two-way player and just what he does for us offensively, spacing the floor, getting to the basket, driving hard to the rim, all types of stuff, I can't say enough about it. And just overall, resilient win from the team. But tonight, we have a chance to go back to Boston and close out the series. I believe that it's going to be a tough challenge. I know that they don't have Jason Tatum for tonight. He's done for the season. But this Boston Celtics team, I believe, is still resilient. The job is not finished. And that's one thing that worries about me. The job is literally not finished. I'm not counting out an NBA championship team no matter what is going on, no matter if they have the star player or not. Feel me? I just don't want to count out the team. And that's going to be a discredit to them. It's still go New York, but at the same time, as the job is not finished. And I feel like we're a better team on the road, but we got to handle business tonight. Tonight, I just feel like I think it's going to be a figuring out process for the Celtics. I don't think they're going to have enough time to figure out how we're going to run through our Jason Tatum. I do know that this team is going to be offensive minded. I know Peyton Pritchard's going to get his shots. Derek White's going to get his within the flow of offense. Jaylen Brown, let me stop right here. Jaylen Brown needs to have a performance that, you know, reminds us why he's a top player in the league. I feel like he's been subpar this postseason. I don't like what I see from Jaylen Brown. This is somebody that was Finals MVP last year. This is somebody that, a lot of media at a point said that he's the best player on this Boston Celtics team. And now that Jason Tatum is not here, I do think Jaylen Brown needs to remind people why he's one of the top players in the league. Because right now it's been subpar. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like what I've seen from Jaylen Brown. I do feel like he's a better player than what the media has been saying thus far about him. But he's gonna have to show it tonight, and then everybody else is just gonna have to follow along. You're gonna need Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know how healthy he is, but he's gonna need some offense. Like, offense is gonna have to come besides somebody besides Derek White, Payne Pritchard. So Jaylen Brown needs to have a big game. This is a big game for Jaylen Brown too as well. But yeah, other than that though, I do have the Knicks winning. I think that we just have to handle business, get straight to the game. I think Jason Tatum not being on the floor is going to hurt because that's another three-point shooter you have to rotate and close out on. I think that it kind of messes up their flow of things, but who knows, man? I got Knicks. I want Knicks in 5, but I just got to see how it plays out. But yeah, moving on to things. Last night, to another game that transpired was between the OKC Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. Game 4, was it? No, game 5 of the Western Conference semis. OKC just finding a way to win. They managed to go up in the series 3-2. Now the pressure's on Denver to win the next 2 or even force it to a game 7. OKC, what I seen from them was just resiliency of a young team, showing why they were the best team, why they were damn near 70-win team this whole season, why Shea Gilgeous, why all these other guys are here to play. It was a team effort. I can't say nothing more than the less, because when I was looking at the game, Shea Gilgeous didn't have the best offensive game that you usually see from him, having these 30-point games, 35-point games. But it wasn't about him. It was more so about the whole team in general. When I was looking at it, at a point, they were down double digits, but that they didn't get discouraged. I'm looking at guys like Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. They just, finishing strong in the paint. Another guy who I feel like has been their most consistent player thus far in the playoffs has been Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso had came up big for them a couple of times, just hitting timely shots, playing hard-nosed defense, and not letting the Denver Nuggets get into the flow of their offense. Another guy who came up big for them, Lu Dort. Lu Dort in that fourth quarter really sparked the run that they needed in order for them to get this win. Because when I'm telling you, Lu Dort is just hitting three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. It's like he started heating up in the fourth quarter to where now everybody gets going. Now you have to worry about Lu Dort closing out Lu Dort, and now it just frees up other guys like J-Dub was getting back into the flow of things. Everything was connected for the OKC team. It was just a team effort game that you like to see a bunch of players in double digits, guys getting, very good defense stops. It's tough when you got to go against OKC and they're playing their best basketball. Their brand of basketball is when everybody's involved, everybody's doing their thing. But for the other hand, the Denver Nuggets, just another collapse for them. I feel like this is just the second game to where they've been, ahead in the game and they feel me had the momentum and they just collapsed, especially in that fourth quarter. I believe they were up 10 at a point and they just couldn't buy nothing. When I look at it, Jokic was the only person that was going. I know at points in time, Jamal Murray had the offense going, but other than that, you didn't really get no real contributions from guys like Christian Braun. Russell Westbrook had a bad game too as well. Aaron Gordon didn't have the Aaron Gordon savior-like game that he's been known to have in this postseason. What am I thinking about? Payne Watson. He couldn't buy an offensive bucket for nothing. It got to a point where they threw in Julian Strawther, and I don't know how much minutes he's been in this playoffs, but they was just trying to find somebody to give offense rather than Jokic. So, yeah, Jokic did as much as he can. I believe he had like 44 points, around like 16, 17 rebounds. Just trying to will this team to still in game 5. But now you find yourself in a position to where now you got to win the next 2 games to even think about getting back to the conference finals. And that is a hard task along itself because now you got to beat an OKC team who's for the most part has handled business. Now they're up 3-2. Now they're feeling confident. They got their swagger. They got their aura. Shea Gilgeous is feeling good. The whole team is feeling good that we can handle business in Denver. They're not losing sleep about Denver. Now you find yourself in a position now to where it's like we got to find a way to win. we got to execute at a high rate. We need Jokic to handle business. We need Jamal Murray to put on one of those extravagant games. And we need just everybody to just, play their role. And I think that's going to be a tough task to ask, especially knowing that an OKC team now, they see what's going on and they sense blood. They're like a shark up in the water and they sense blood. So this team is they're just gonna come at you with everything they have. It's a it's a big task to ask. I know Nikola Jokic is gonna step up to it. Jamal Murray should have one of those games that remind us why he's a threat in the playoff. And another person too, you need Michael Porter. If Michael Porter got his game going offensively, he got his swagger back, then I think that this could push to 7. And then, once again, game 7 is just anybody's ball game. But yeah, I think that was it for just that series. And last series I'm gonna get into is the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Golden State Warriors. Sort of a lackluster series thus far, just off the strength that Steph Curry's not out there. It's kind of a boring series when you don't have two superstars out there competing. It's just kind of just deflates the energy of the series. It's not like something that you want to tune in and watch. For the Golden State side, it's just been tough for them because you built this team, you traded for Jimmy Butler to where now you feel comfortable that maybe you can make another run. Maybe you can grab another ring. Maybe Steph Curry can get his 5th ring. And it was just looking like maybe they have a chance to do it. But just the game 1 injury to Stephen Curry has just been deflating towards this team. And you're gonna ask a lot out of Jimmy Butler, out of Draymond Green, out of Buddy Hield, just to try to win a game without the superstar player, the 3-point assassin, just the person that really puts the team on the back, the face of the Golden State Warriors, Stephen Curry. Not having that type of caliber of a player is really asking much from players that hasn't really been able to do nothing in their careers like sort of what Stephen Curry does or when you're a playoff series besides Jimmy Butler, in my opinion. But yeah, and it's shown in this series too, because even at points where the Golden State Warriors made their runs, now it's like I don't think there was no panic on the Minnesota Timberwolves because at the end of the day, they know that they can get themselves back in the game. And it's shown time and time again from guys like Anthony Edwards, who's just been hooping, balling out of control. Julius Randle, too, having one of his best postseasons. Actually, not one of his best, the best postseason that Julius Randle has had in his career. And, it's kind of a great thing to see. You love to see it, especially just the slander that he got in New York. I was relatively critical of him, just the way he played in the postseason, not showing up when we need him to. But I think this year, I think he shut up all the critics that saying he's not a postseason player, all types of shit. And just the way that he's been hooping, having a triple-double, averaging damn near around maybe 19 or 20 for the postseason thus far. And just what he brings to the team, just him just attacking the basket, hitting timely threes, spacing out the floor with passing the ball and just making the right reads. Julius Randle has been one of their most consistent factors, maybe their X factor for this team as well. And I'm looking at other guys too that when they get going, that this Minnesota Timberwolves team is scary to look at. Nas Reeves of the world, Jaden McDaniels of the world, Dante DiVincenzo's of the world. When this team is flowing offensively and everybody's just hitting, it's a tough team to beat. But yeah, and it's shown, and that's why they're up 3-1. They handled business last game, blowing out the Golden State Warriors by 20, and now they have a chance to bring it back to Minnesota to just close out the series and get ready to maybe make a run of returning to the Western Conference Finals. I think for the Minnesota Timberwolves, they know that they do not want Stephen Curry to return back in this series, so they're going to try their hardest tonight to close out this series in 5 because they don't want to drag the series on for as long as they need to. They sense blood. They're like sharks in the water. They sense blood, and they just got to execute. I think right now the Minnesota Timberwolves crowd, they know what's coming. They know that we have a chance to get back to the conference finals and maybe make a run at the finals. So they're not going to play with their food one bit. I feel like the Target Center is going to be loud and jump in. They just going to, yeah, I think that they're just going to handle business more so that we're not going to waste our time. We're going to come out. We're going to execute. And that's no disrespect to the Golden State Warriors. I do feel like they're going to try to hold on, try to fight as much as they can. We might get a playoff Jimmy experience to where he just going berserk trying to put this team together. But it's going to take a lot. You're going to need a lot from players like Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga. Everybody's going to have to be on their A game if the Golden State Warriors think about pushing this to 6. So if they want to return to the Chase Center is going to take everything in their power. Everybody's going to be on point just to even just have thoughts about it. But in my opinion, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to handle business. Anthony Edwards is just going to do Anthony Edwards things and just get to the basket now. He's going to shoot his threes. There's nothing much you could really do when Anthony Edwards is just on offensively. But it's going to be a tough task to ask. But shit, the series ends in 5. I think so. No disrespect to the Golden State Warriors, hell of a season, but I just think that just no Stephen Curry it goes a long way. When you don't have a superstar, it really goes a long way. That maybe you could push it to 6, but in reality, it's just everybody just gonna have to step up. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna have to say. For the most part, I don't got too much to say. What I can do is I do want to just go back to a couple of highlights real quick. All right. All right. So, look at the. Oh shit! Shows that I'm live. Haha! Yo, shout out chat. Yep.
As the Celtics dominated, misses both. Anunoby the rebound. They've got reason to cheer here in Game 4 of the 4th.
Yep. Hold on.
Holiday fighting over a screen. Brunson gets inside. Layup won't go. Rebound court taken by Holiday.
Yes.
Horford to White. Corner 3. Won't go as well. Bridges comes up with a rebound.
Well, you were playing 5-on-4. This is an opportunity. Brunson slowed across half court and you come away empty.
Brunson has Al Horford on him. Derek White looking to help.
I don't know why. A lot of times I see Al Horford just.
Brunson drives. Gets past Horford. Stops. Pulls up. 2-pointer. Got it. 5-point lead for the Knicks with under 4 to play. Brunson's got 35.
I don't know what it's about Al Horford. It's just like
hit him way outside. Too strong. Bridges the rebound. Brunson drive, shut off by Holiday. Nearly lost it.
I really do wish that I was at the game, though. I feel like
Brunson calling for it again, telling Robinson to go down. Anunoby sets the screen. He wanted to target Porzingis. Pass in the corner. Bridges off the bounce. Has to get it off. Puts it up.
This man has a 99. I don't know what it is.
This is the largest lead of the series for the next time in Boston.
Crazy. And when he gets into that
for Bridges.
The postseason much time has been a nightmare for the Boston Celtics. You know who hasn't been a nightmare for? The New York Knickerbockers. Whether it's Mikal Bridges or the clutch player of the year, who has been absolutely brilliant in the clutch to the Boston Celtics.
That's point guard. Right now, name your point.
Wanna try to post at what I look like.
The speed and efficiency of the Fiverr freelancers has really been game-changing for us. It's helped take us.
Let's break this down. Hold on real quick.
So much about the slow. Hard to drive, gets to the rim, bank shot is good.
At the point guard. Then he went to the Final Four. These moments he's used to.
Bridges falling away. Mikal Bridges with some big buckets. Bridges drives on Horford, looks inside, brings it back out. Finds Towns, guarded by White. Towns spins, flips it up and in. 21 points for shot clock at 9. Tatum gets in the paint, flips it up. Shot is good. Oh, what a shot from Jason Tatum. Somebody besides Brunson really had to have a big game, and the Knicks have gotten a few. Tatum steps back, three-pointer. That's good. Jason Tatum, his 6th three-pointer. Tatum was looking to throw it up the floor. Knicks got back defensively. Tatum, one side, gets another three. 39 points for Jason. Anunoby fakes, drives on Porzingis, gets inside, banks it home. Into the hands of Tatum. Tatum drives, gets inside. Anunoby all over him. Tatum sneaks underneath. Count it, and a foul. Jason Tatum, chance for a three-point. Anunoby, dangerous pass, but already lurking. 6 on the shot clock. Anunoby, a three-pointer. Puts it in. OG Anunoby with his 4th three-pointer. Brunson against White. Hesitation. Flips it up with the left hand. Bank shot's good. 33. Shot clock down to 7. Brunson drives. Gets past Horford. Stops. Pulls up. Two-pointer. Got it.
Best point guard in the league.
Pass in the corner. Bridges off the bounce. Has to get it off. Puts it up. That's good. Mikal Bridges knocks it down.
At that point, they just ran away with it.
Jaylen Brown back in. Lost the ball. Anunoby all by himself. Throws it down. And Tatum is hurt. Tatum is down. He wants a timeout. Tatum in so much pain.
From this perspective,
So Tatum,
I thought it was at least
hobbling back to the locker room, obviously couldn't put any weight at all on the right foot.
he was hooping, and you hate to see that. Yo, Jason Tatum get
Brunson
better.
looking, step back, three-pointer. It's good. Rattled around and dropped through.
We're the guard and rock.
Remember, the Celtics had a 14-point lead in the third. Turnover, Robinson, handoff, Holiday with the steal. Still time remaining. Inside, Brown, an easy layup and in.
But yeah, shoot, man, just the way that we was able to win that game, and just the fashion of just that third and fourth quarter run. I believe we outscored them. I believe it was 60-49. Can't beat that. But let's look at another highlight. I don't mind doing this too, actually.
This dude is not a real hooper. He's a content creator, y'all. You got to be tough to get to the rim. 104.
Here we go.
Williams against Jokic, gets it back with 8 to shoot. Dort, swing, Hartenstein extra. Shot clock is winding down. The jumper goes for Holmgren. Denver shot it very poorly, 31% the other day in game 4 as Gordon misses on the jumper. Gilgeous-Alexander accelerates and scores. Murray pops. It's off. In the air, Gilgeous-Alexander taps it right to Murray. Missed it. Jokic there for the clean. Gilgeous-Alexander through traffic. Denver is within all 5 on the ball, but they've got eyes on it. Knocked away by Brown. Turnover. 3-on-2 developing. Brown a bounce. Porter one dribble. And he cuts it back inside.
And it's worked, and it also gives them a chance, Denver, to relax and rest a bit on defense.
Brown got a 3.
They don't leave anybody on an island, particularly against Jokic.
Wiggins in, Wallace in, Brown from the other side. Got him.
That defense on it.
And Westbrook tried to take it away from Hartenstein, could not. Wiggins grits the needle for the Caruso J. The high 4 times here in the first. Jokic with Caruso. Jokic flips it up and in. 7 points for Jokic. The last 3 games, he shot at 33% from the field, 18% from 3. Williams lob it up. Hartenstein guides it by Denver. That's not how the officials saw it, so the Nuggets take over. Ball popped in the air.
Wallace. Spoke about him. Wallace is one of those dudes that when
Nikola Jokic on the bench for Denver. They lead it by 3. Murray.
Right out there.
Bingo. From long range. 7 in the regular season. Back in. Squares and hits. And that 2-man game against Williams. 7 to shoot. Jokic the back end. Kick. Struthers ready. And he sticks the tray. It bounces off the shoulder of Jokic. Get it ahead. Wallace. They get Wiggins involved. Sticks the foot. Big first half for Williams. Knock away by Porter, but into the hands of Wallace. Hartenstein hands to Caruso. Chucks in a 3.
4 on the road. Certainly has had success at home with that shot.
Jokic with the left.
From long.
Murray back in. Turnaround.
Yo,
Oh, that's tough.
there you go.
Holmgren
Murray.
retreats. Williams is open.
Shots, bro. These shits is crazy. Yo, run that back. Right here. Like, you know how tough this is?
Murray back in.
Like,
Turnaround.
bring it all
Oh,
over him.
that's tough.
Still nothing. I would be
Holmgren
mad.
retreats. Williams is open. Off the rim. Caruso flies in. Holmgren. The crack. Gets a touch screen. Jokic. Jokic fake. Jokic drive. Jokic scores.
I don't care what nobody says. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. 31 points in the third quarter, 12 in that quarter. He had a sense of
31 points, 12 rebounds. The lead is 11. Ball movement. Caruso 3 is killed. 1 minute to play, quarter. Pull up pop. It's good. Jokic double team. Watson swing. Strawther offensive ability. Drives, gives it up. Westbrook.
Let me just pause the recording. This was something that they were talking about on the Gilbert Arenas podcast show, to where they said that Alex Caruso, even though that he wasn't the main guy, he still got that championship experience, to where if you ask him what was the day-to-day basis, what was it like training for a championship, what was it like the practices, just the walkthrough of games and all types of shit, he was a part of that for a reason. His vet and championship experience is showing right now in the second round series where they need it the most. He's the most experienced on this team. He has a championship ring. He played with the greats of Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So, yeah, so when Gilbert Arenas was saying, why am I asking Alex Caruso about a championship where I could be asking Bron or AD, he was in the trenches with them, and that goes a long way too. And I think at a point he was trying to discredit Nick Young for that. But at the same time, as Nick Young was in the trenches, he might not have been on the court, but he was in the practices. He's in the games. He's listening to the huddles, what everybody got to say, what the floor of the game is. How can we, change up what we got going on to secure this win? He was out there with them, and that goes a long way. So, yeah, shout out to Alex Caruso, man, showing his vet experience. Let me just go back to this real quick. All right.
Shooting numbers are actually trending down. Porter gets it in. Gordon fires. In and out. That was the spot. He made the three in game one. Instead, it's off the mark, and Denver's going to play the foul dance. It's off the mark, tipped up in the air. Williams claims it, and Gilgeous-Alexander will dribble up.
Shit. Game 6 now, Denver. What do you got? Can you win 2 games to get back to the conference final, or it is quiet? And let's go over one more game. We got the Cavs and the Pacers.
Welcome to Visible, the ultimate wireless hack. It's one line, powered with unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network.
I gotta go
for just $25 a month.
This shit is cool, actually. I didn't mind doing this shit.
And some of that significantly improved Pacers defense. Andrew Nembhard.
Not the start of the Cavs you're looking for. And
So watch out,
Pacers
everybody.
want to come out with the same kind of force you had in this game in game 4. But
Won't get a better look than that with Siakam pulling the loose change. Here comes Siakam. Euro step to the rack. And suddenly, and he's headed to the free throw line. Season players this postseason in assists per game. What a player he's become for the Pacers. Mobley! Aaron Nesmith dribbles around Hunter, taking flight. Nice challenge by Wade, but Nesmith, the coach makes. Or you find out about a coach's thinking on a night like tonight. Mathurin, top shot. He just kind of closed at the 5-minute mark left in the quarter. Garland working against McConnell. There's a screen, pulls up, mid-range, Jay.
because of how he's going to be in attack mode for the basketball.
Okoro loses his footing and then topping the snatch, but Allen, Evan Mitchell playing with fire in his belly.
They control the defensive backboard.
Donovan Mitchell sizes up Shepard. Here he comes on the attack, little Euro step, and the on a 20-7 run, but they committed back-to-back turnovers by Mitchell. Hunter's going to pull.
Wait, I didn't even realize. Hold on, I didn't even realize.
Large.
This is like the second or third time during this series that they find themselves with a lead where they up good and they just blow it. Realistically, this game could have been 3-3. We could have been maybe 6. Yeah. We could have been in a position where it's going to 6, or we could have been going to 7. I thought the series was going to 7. But I don't know how Cleveland just keep blowing these leads. Let's watch this shit. I want to see how Cleveland keep blowing these leads, man, because this shit is ridiculous.
Just lead of the game for the Cavs. Siakam inside the 9-minute mark in the first half. Cavaliers shooting percentage up now to 56%. Hunter coming with so far so good as they play with a 19-point lead.
Defensively, they've done a great job, and that's what you want to see.
Connecting. We come up on the midway point of this second quarter. Neesmith working against Mitchell, trying to turn the quarter. Mitchell, excellent defense. Neesmith able to hit nonetheless. And Mitchell is now 3 of 9 shooting.
You're the Pacers right now. You gotta feel great because you're making the Cavs feel.
Halliburton with a deep shot. Halliburton on a skip. And there's the heat check. Halliburton calling for it, barks out the play to his mates. Siakam extends, and they just keep on coming. And Indiana just can't. The Pacers in front. Here comes Garland. Near side, bad pass for Okoro. And they turn it over. Thomas Bryant.
I'm telling you, they play everyone. They play everyone.
Ty Jerome time inserted for the first time tonight, and he's going to go for broke.
Back into it. I mean, it feels like they're down 20, but it's basically a 2-possession game.
They just play.
2 minutes left in the quarter. Changed his mind. He went glass. Tough shot with Bryant on his hip. Pacers looking to push. Topping Euro step, and he's headed to the free throw line. But the reverse just couldn't hit.
Everybody, that's probably the logo for them in the fucking line.
Jerome's going to pull again, and he buries it.
More that.
TJ McConnell reinserted by Rick Carlisle. Toppin trying to turn the corner. This is Bryant. He's going to pull a 3, and he hits.
They make some shit like that.
Here comes Halliburton. Turn back, Mobley. We're down to 90 seconds into the corner. Mitchell bangs on a 3.
Crazy part about this part. Pause real quick. Crazy part about this part. This nigga Donovan Mitchell missed 3 free throws. 3 straight free throws because he got fouled on a 3-point attempt. He missed 3 straight free throws that could have potentially, helped them and then tied the game. So just for him to go back and do that shit and hit the corner 3, that probably could have changed the game to where now they're back in it. Fuck you.
Here comes Nembhard into the paint, a little bit of contact, and he is headed to the free throw line. Donovan Mitchell has hit the last 13 points for the Cavs. Here it comes again, extends, missed it. Siakam was there, and we're down to 55 seconds.
Don't have to foul here.
Down.
Indiana Pacers.
Heading back to
the
Indiana Pacers
to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they're going to await the New York Knicks and Celtics series. So shit, man. Shout out to the Pacers once again. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of It's Debatable. I kind of fuck with how I just had the whole streaming kind of set up too. I'm gonna try to do a lot more of this when Justin and Fave get back on. So yeah, for the most part, appreciate everybody for watching. Please do subscribe, and yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all.